Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, Minnesota Pilots Association issues advisory for Red Lake Reservation overflights. DJI fights against proposed U.S. drone ban. Cargo flight skids off Hong Kong runway into the sea. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. Minnesota Pilots Association issues advisory for Red Lake Reservation overflights. The Minnesota Pilots Association has issued an advisory regarding overflights of the Red Lake Indian Reservation in northwestern Minnesota. Turns out, the Red Lake tribe of the Chippewa Indians passed a resolution denying the Air Force permission for low-level overflights and simultaneously banning all flights below 20,000 feet above the reservation. The association received a phone call from a pilot who experienced an engine failure on a VFR flight from Roseau to Bemidji, Minnesota. He was able to safely land on a highway within the reservation, and apparently the pilot was unaware of the total flight ban. The association said they had just learned of it as well. His airplane was impounded, and the result of the incident and disposition of the airplane is to be decided at a tribal trial on November 4th, 2025. Obviously, the part that is of particular importance for general and business aviation is the, quote, establishment of an air ban prohibiting the flying of any airplane over lands of the Red Lake Band of the Chippewa Indians at any altitude below 20,000 feet, end quote. The Minnesota Pilots Association advises pilots to be aware of the directive issued by the Red Lake Tribal Council to report low-flying planes, meaning altitudes less than 20,000 feet. After the break, DHS under fire for dropping $172 million on new jets during shutdown.
It's time to upgrade your power plant to the first FAA-certified clean sheet engine design in over 60 years. Delta Hawk's jet fuel-powered liquid-cooled turbocharged engine produces turbine performance at 40% better fuel efficiency of typical reciprocating engines, while also achieving exceptional reliability and significant reduction in cost of ownership. Reserve your engine package today at deltahawk.com.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. DHS under fire for dropping $172 million on new jets during shutdown. DHS is facing criticism for deciding that now, weeks into a government shutdown, was a great time to spend $172 million on two sparkly new Gulfstream G700 biz jets. The purchase was intended to replace an aging G550 that officials said had long surpassed its operational life. According to DHS, the new flights are essential for its long-range command and control fleet. The G550, designated CG-101, is over 20 years old and beyond recommended usage. DHS insisted that the replacement was necessary to maintain readiness and safety standards. Air New Zealand goes green with first electric flight. Air New Zealand has taken its first big step toward electric aviation, flying the U.S.-built Beta Alia CX-300 out of Tauranga Airport as part of what the airline calls a technical demonstrator program. The aircraft, on a 4-month lease from Beta Technologies, will tour several New Zealand cities as the carrier evaluates its performance and gets its crews situated with the new systems. The aircraft will operate from Hamilton next, with additional testing scheduled between Wellington and Blenheim in December. ALPA praises bipartisan bill to mitigate helicopter risks. ALPA issued a statement lauding a bipartisan bill introduced by Senators Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell that's intended to prevent tragedies like the PSA Airlines Flight 5342 in January this year. Captain Jason Ambrosi, president of ALPA, notes, quote, ALPA applauds Chair Cruz and Ranking Member Cantwell for their bipartisan leadership in advancing critical aviation safety measures through their agreement on the Rotor Act. This legislation represents a significant step forward in preventing future tragedies by immediately closing dangerous loopholes and mandating enhanced safety technology, end quote. The Spirit budget cuts never end. Spirit Airlines is announcing further cuts to its workforce as its long-running bankruptcy restructuring drags another year. The carrier announced it will furlough 365 pilots in early 2026, marking another blow to a company already in survival mode after filing for Chapter 11 protection for the second time. The move follows multiple earlier cuts, including the furlough of 330 pilots this past summer and another 270 planned for November. Spirit also confirmed that up to 170 pilots will be downgraded to lower ranks as part of what it calls staff alignment with its operations. That's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. DJI fights against proposed U.S. drone ban. DJI is taking its Chinese military company label back to the Pentagon in hope of regaining access to the U.S. market. Judges decided just last month to uphold the DoD's claims that the company is tied to the Chinese Communist Party, despite dismissing much of the evidence. The ruling came in the form of a 49-page opinion that rejected most of the Defense Department's accusations, including claims that DJI is owned by, controlled by, or directly affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party. He also dismissed arguments that the company operates out of any so-called military-civil fusion zone. Still, the court allowed DJI's inclusion on the blacklist to stand due to two narrower factors: its status as a Chinese National Enterprise Technology Center, a government-recognized innovation award, and the fact that DJI drones have the potential to serve both civil and military applications. DJI insists the NETC designation is routine for large Chinese tech firms and has nothing to do with the military. The company's legal fight began in 2024 when it accused the Pentagon of applying the label without evidence. DJI also argued selective enforcement, pointing out that several Western companies with Chinese partnerships have similar government recognitions, but remain untouched. The court, however, gave the Pentagon wide discretion in determining which companies appear on the list, which proved decisive in dismissing DJI's claims. After these messages, cargo flight skids off Hong Kong runway into the sea.
Looking for a new generation of proven and efficient aviation power plants that boast modern engineering, electronic ignition, and both direct and gear drive systems? With 100 horsepower to 240 horsepower, the Skyline and Redline engines offer uncommon value in an overpriced industry. Whether you are looking for fixed wing or rotor, MW Fly Americas has been established to service the American market with dedication and expertise. MWFlyAmericas.com. The legendary BD4C program is building an exciting future for those who want a rugged four-seat family flyer with a proven history. The SureWings program produces a complete kit and builder assist program that gives you everything you need to be flying a BD4CS in record time. For conventional kit builders, BD Aviation has parts, partial kits, and full kits for the 190-mile-per-hour BD4C that has logged thousands of hours. Visit SureWings.com and BDAviation.com for more detail.
Welcome back. Cargo flight skids off Hong Kong runway into the sea. An Emirates Boeing 747 cargo aircraft skidded off the runway after landing at Hong Kong International Airport, crashed through a perimeter fence, and collided with an airport security vehicle before sliding into the sea. 2 people in the vehicle were killed, and the aircraft ended up partially submerged just offshore. The 4 crew members of the aircraft survived in one of the deadliest aviation incidents in recent years at Hong Kong, which is notable for its good safety record. The flight was Emirates EK9788, arriving from Dubai at about 3:50 local time Monday. The runway was closed as officials are investigating what happened, but the airport's other 2 runways remain operational. Stephen Yu, Executive Director of Airport Operations, said the security vehicle was traveling on the road outside the airport fencing, quote, at a safe distance from the runway. For some reason, which investigators will focus on, the aircraft turned toward the sea before crashing through the fence and pushing the vehicle into the water. Divers located the bodies of the patrol vehicle's driver and passenger. They were part of the airport's ground staff, aged 30 and 41, with 7 and 12 years experience, respectively. They were found under 23 feet of water, approximately 16 feet from the shore. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.